Welcome back, guys, to the King Josiah TV podcast, where the show was created to educate, promote, and influence the kingdom of Jesus Christ in this world. I am your host, Josiah. And if you're here for the first time, I need you to do me a huge favor. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right below. If you're listening audibly on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and give me that follow button. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's show.
Flexing my God and all of his authority. Practice was preaching purity, priority. Can't conform to it, even if majority choose to go that way. God has been restoring me. They grilling the boy, cause I won't let them George forming me. Try to put me in a box, I got off the ropes, I won't let them corner me. God has been warning me, tell his people ain't no room for lukewarming me. Order me, Lord, it be your will, it never was mine. Like Amazon Prime, his turnaround time around prayer.
All right, guys. So the first subject that we're going to jump into is going to be Bishop Marvin Winans' offer service. So this was going around for the last few weeks. I know a lot of people have already covered it. I may be a little late to the show, but I do believe there was a lot of misunderstanding in what occurred. Of course, we all know when this first came out, the lady that came up and he pretty much was asking for a certain amount of people to come up, and certain dollar amounts to come up initially to keep the order. Now, if you've been in church for any extended period of time, I have. Usually when they do these bigger offerings, whether it be for like certain events that are coming up, buildings, which for them it was a building for that they're building towards, they usually have order of how you're going to come up. And so before the service started, he gave a complete explanation of, okay, hey, I want these people with this certain amount. I think it was people that had 1,000 plus additional amount. I think it was 1,000 plus like 2,000 or 1,500, something like that. So there's a dollar amount that he wanted to come up initially, and then everybody else to come up afterwards. So when that happened, the lady that came up, she came up out of order. Now, he wasn't rebuking her in public. Pretty much what he was saying is, yo, I gave the instructions. And if you listen to the full sermon, I think he gave them out like almost 2 times. So when she comes up, he's like, yo, like, I already said what order to come up in so things can stay in an orderly fashion, and you just came out of order. That's not what I said. So you know how the people in the world, they try to twist and spin it and use this as a way to either, one, I saw certain Christians coming out and rebuking Bishop Winans, which that was incorrect. And then we had people as well coming out in the world and saying, oh, this is why I don't go to church. So I'm going to play the actual full context behind this, but I do want to read a verse before we get into that. This actually comes from Proverbs 25, 8 and 10. Do not be hasty into court. For what you do in the end, what your neighbor puts to shame, argue your case in the neighbor's behalf, and do not reveal another's secret, lest he who hears you brings shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end. So let's listen. Let's keep that verse in your mind. And let's go ahead and listen, because again, do not bring things into court hastily. Let's go ahead and pull this up.
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction, because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And
this is the part where it gets back to using righteous judgment to judge situations. Again, we had Christian influencers and things coming out here saying, oh, he's just asking for money, and he's been doing this building fund for X amount of time and blah, 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 blah. None of that matters. The context behind it, even the member is coming on saying, no, I was not being rebuked. I came up out of order. He said it multiple times. He just said that he said it multiple times because he was trying to get things in order. And again, I guess that is a part of church, the church community, and it's like church rules. Most people that have been in church for, again, a number of years, as I said, kind of know most different type of offerings that they have in a church. There's order behind how they do these things. It's not just lackadaisically done.
corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
Roberta told me, Pastor Winans.
That's all it was.
personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013.
Perfecting Church is sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
And so, guys, anybody that's their pastor, she knows his temperament. She knows when he's joking, when he's serious. People that don't go to that church don't know that. So people just jumped to a conclusion and jumped on the bandwagon of demonizing Bishop Winans, which is completely wrong. So again, for those that weren't listening in the beginning, I'm just going to reread. Actually, no, I'm going to give you another verse, actually out of Proverbs 18 and 13. He who gives an answer before he hears is folly and shame to him. Again, he who gives an answer before he hears, it is folly and is shame to him. So why are people giving these long synopsises, these long reviews, going on? I mean, Breakfast Club was talking about it. Everybody was talking, especially people that are Christians that I was most disappointed in, had big opinions on things, but had no true context behind what they were saying. They didn't have the information behind it. They just saw that clip was what, 10 seconds, maybe not even. And people just jumped on it, but I just want to go ahead and do one more thing that actually I saw where Bishop Winans actually, something happened afterwards, is when the world comes down on you and the world tries to demonize, so the world is going to try to demonize what God is doing in the move of God, and will always try to put a smear on the gospel and a smear on things that God is moving, and God ended up blessing him in the end. Now, I don't condone this man that did it, but Tyler Perry ended up donating $100,000 the week after.
Folks started calling up from other states saying, I got to give on this. Tyler Perry said $100,000. Monday, we have received, one person called and he said, tell my name. He said, because I know God is in this. Tyler Perry said $100,000. Monday.
Look at God. Look at God. As I mentioned, guys, there's so much. I mean, when you see that there, you see again the move of God. When the world says one thing, everybody comes against you, and God shows a different thing. See, if you stay diligent to God and you stay diligent in what he's given, you don't pull back like most of these pastors. When the world comes at them, when a clip goes viral, they retract. No, stick to what God has put in you. Stick to the plan that God has given you, and God will bless you. So last verse I want to read this is, again, there's so many things from Proverbs that we can pull from. But the last verse I want to give on for this situation is Proverbs 18 and 17. The first to plead his case seems right. Just like everybody, when they came out, they seem right until another comes and examines him. So I want to leave you guys with that verse there. And just think on that. When it comes to Bishop Winans and the stuff that's going on, I do believe people jumped to conclusions way too quick. People wanted to just jump on the bandwagon because they saw the other issues with other pastors and things that it came up earlier this year that people just dogpiled on. This, I believe, was not one of them. This was a misjudgment. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap up today's show with that there. Thank you guys again for sticking along for this podcast. Again, this is episode number 40 of the King Josiah TV podcast. If you guys have any comments, disagreements, I know things we talked about today were controversial. There may even be a conversation at the water cooler. Talk to me. I want to hear what you say. I don't even care if you got to argue with me. Drop something in the comments, hit a like on the video before you get out of here. And again, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go and hit the follow button. If you're listening on YouTube and you haven't yet, go ahead and smash that subscribe button for me. I'm dropping videos every single week We'll come at you next week with EP number 41.
But my salvation on me like it's a helmet. The way you to sin is death for send you to hell quick. Wanted to be all about me, God, I was selfish. I was rebellious.